Tanjiro Kamado's journey from being the child of a charcoal seller to humanity's greatest weapon against the demons was a path filled with loss, hardship, and grief. But what if Tanjiro had a second chance to rewrite his story? In today's video, we're exploring an alternate timeline where Tanjiro is reborn with all his power and memories, giving him the opportunity to change everything. Our story begins at the darkest moment of the final battle. The Demon Slayers have given everything in their war against Muzan Kibutsuji and are finally battling him outside the Infinity Castle. Every surviving Demon Slayer, no matter how skilled, puts their life on the line to defeat Muzan, as the Demon King pulls out all the tricks hidden up his sleeve. In the original timeline, Muzan had to transform to create a flesh shield for himself from the sun, after Tanjiro and Giyu landed a devastating slash. But in this timeline, Tanjiro's strength falters at a crucial moment, and with his body breaking down from the strain of sun breathing, he fails to land the critical blow. Muzan seizes the opportunity and uses his transformation to burrow into the ground and then shrink, completely avoiding Sanemi and Giyu, the only Hashira still alive and standing. As his consciousness fades and darkness closes in, Tanjiro's final thoughts are filled with regret, Rengoku's sacrifice, Nezuko's suffering, and all the lives lost in endless war against demons have lost their purpose. With his last breath, Tanjiro makes a desperate wish. If I could only do it all again. If I could only save them all. When Tanjiro opens his eyes, he's lying on the floor of Saburo's hut. For a moment, he's confused. The last thing he remembers is dying in the Infinity Castle. But as his senses return, a terrible realization hits him like a thunderbolt. This is the morning he found his family slaughtered. But why is he here? Was this a cruel dream that didn't let him rest even in death? Tanjiro sprints down the mountain path toward his home, his body moving with a speed and precision that seems impossible. When he arrives, the scene is exactly as he remembers. His family is lying in pools of blood, while Nezuko is painfully transforming into a demon. This couldn't possibly be a dream. It feels too real. As Tanjiro carries Nezuko through the snow, he makes a vow. This time, he'll use every advantage he has to end Muzan's reign of terror. When Giyu Tomioka encounters the siblings on that snowy path, Tanjiro immediately gets to the point and asks the water Hashira to notify Urokodaki. Giyu is immediately suspicious, but he knows the boy definitely isn't a demon, and the fact that he can restrain Nezuko is shocking. When Tanjiro arrives at Mount Sagiri, Sakonji Urokodaki expects to train another frightened boy who knows nothing about combat, but instead, he finds himself facing someone who already knows everything, as Tanjiro performs the 9 forms of water breathing that he learned in his past life. Tanjiro proposes working with Urokodaki to refine his sun breathing instead, and the master agrees as he has nothing more to teach in terms of water breathing. Tanjiro's main weakness in the final battle was the fact that he had not mastered any of his important skills like the selfless state, transparent world, or even the basic forms of sun breathing. But now he has access to his ancestral memories and the experience of using those forms against Muzan and Akaza. Tanjiro's sun breathing forms become sharper and more devastating with each passing day, and he manages to perfect the 13th form that Yorichi used to permanently scar Muzan. Tanjiro also masters the ability to activate his Demon Slayer mark at will and develops the selfless state within weeks. When the time comes for the final selection, Urokodaki almost doesn't want Tanjiro to go because he fears what will happen when the Demon Slayer Corps discovers a 13-year-old with a power rivaling the strongest Hashira. The final selection proceeds very differently, with Tanjiro making a beeline straight for the hand demon before it can hurt anyone else. Before the demon can even register what's happening, Tanjiro unleashes Hinokami Kagura, Clear Blue Sky, disintegrating it with one stroke. Unlike his original journey, Tanjiro doesn't waste time taking on small missions, and he's already traveled halfway to Asakusa when his crow gives him the mission to battle the Swamp Demon. The moment Tanjiro catches Muzan's scent in the crowded streets, a cold fury washes over him, but he knows better than to attack now. Even with all of his power and knowledge, he's not ready to face the Demon King alone. Instead, Tanjiro does something calculated. He seeks out Tamayo and speaks to her about the anti-Kibutsuji drug. Tamayo is stunned into silence, as this boy knows details about her research that she's only shared with Yushiro. This single meeting transforms Tamayo's work, as Tanjiro confirms the 4 components that it needs to have, and that it's critical for Tamayo to collaborate with Shinobu. While the development of the anti-Muzan drug advances at an unprecedented pace, Tanjiro is summoned to meet Master Kagaya, but without the Hashira present. He tells the head of the Demon Slayer Corps everything, and Kagaya's unfailing intuition tells him that Tanjiro is telling the truth. But he realizes a risk in what Tanjiro has been doing all this time. If Tanjiro changes too many things in the present, It will turn the future into something that he can't control. When the mission to the Mugen train arrives, Tanjiro knows exactly what's coming, and he's prepared for it. Enmu isn't even a challenge this time around, as Tanjiro is a sun-breathing user with the strength to take down an upper moon. The battle on top of the train is over in minutes, instead of the prolonged struggle it was originally. But Tanjiro knows that Enmu was never the real threat. The real battle begins when Akaza arrives. When Akaza emerges from the darkness and sets his sights on Rengoku, Tanjiro wants to step in and kill him right there. But Kagaya's warning rings in his head, so instead he lets things play out, and as much as it pains him, he lets Rengoku take a few injuries as dawn approaches. You see, Tanjiro can access the transparent world now, and he notices exactly when Rengoku is at his limit. Tanjiro enters the selfless state, completely erasing his presence from Akaza's compass needle, and as the Upper Moon 3 prepares his final attack, Tanjiro dashes forward and cuts off both of his arms, freeing Rengoku. The demon's eyes widen in shock, and for the first time in over 100 years, Akaza finds himself genuinely struggling in a fight. With dawn approaching, Akaza realizes with horror that if he doesn't retreat now, these demon slayers might actually kill him. Tanjiro lets Akaza escape into the forest and watches over Rengoku, but now he has questions to answer. Rengoku immediately speaks to the Hashira and Master Kagaya about this boy who's capable of keeping up with the Upper Moon 3. Giyu steps in and tells them about the time he met Tanjiro, that he knew about the demon slayers, Urokodaki, and seemingly much more. Kagaya tells the Hashira that Tanjiro has a form of foresight just like him, and puts their suspicions to rest. But the likes of Sanemi and Obanai are still suspicious, especially given that Tanjiro travels with a demon. The Upper Moons 4, 5, and 6 are defeated in the Entertainment District and Swordsmith Village arcs, just like in the original timeline, and Tanjiro recovers Yorichi's sword from the Type 0 doll. But the most important change comes during the Hashira training arc, as Tanjiro knows exactly what to focus on. He uses this opportunity to push every single Hashira to unlock their Demon Slayer marks and achieve the transparent world. One by one, the Hashira begin to transform, and by the time the training arc concludes, every single Hashira has awakened their mark and gained access to enhanced abilities they never achieved in the original timeline. When Muzan finally makes his move and attacks the Ubuyashiki mansion, Tanjiro is there, ready for it. But this time, the trap they've set for the Demon King is far more elaborate. Kagaya still sacrifices himself in the explosion. He was already sick and dying, and this moment gives his life purpose. Even Tamayo still gives herself up as the vessel to inject the poison into Muzan. But the formula is far more potent than in the original timeline. When Nakime activates the Infinity Castle and pulls all the Demon Slayers inside, they're not scattered randomly. The Kusagai crows map the castle structure, and while Tanjiro has no knowledge of the upper moons he didn't face, everyone is better prepared for their battles. Tanjiro and Rengoku confront Akaza together once more, but this time both are marked demon slayers who have mastered their selfless state. Meanwhile, Giyu fights against Kokushibo, and his presence distracts the Upper Moon 1 just enough to prevent Muichiro and Genya from sustaining lethal injuries. With all the Upper Moons defeated, the demon slayers converge on Muzan's location within the collapsing Infinity Castle. Every Hashira aside from Shinobu is present and marked. The anti-Muzan drug is working better than expected, and most importantly, they have Tanjiro, who knows Muzan's every technique and weakness. The battle that unfolds is still brutal, as Muzan, weakened by the drug but still monstrously powerful, fights with the desperation of a cornered animal. Tanjiro leads the assault, his sun-breathing forms cutting through Muzan's regeneration faster than the Demon King can heal. Muzan makes his final desperate attempt to escape, but Tanjiro is ready for it. Right as Muzan starts developing his flesh shield, Tanjiro jumps back to avoid being captured in it, and as the Demon King escapes into the shade, all the Hashira converge on him. The Demon King's eyes widen in horror as he realizes he's been completely outmaneuvered. Tanjiro performs the 13th form of sun-breathing, completely overwhelming Muzan's regeneration, and his body begins to disintegrate under the combination of sunlight, the anti-demon drug, and the relentless assault of bright red Nichirin blades. 3 months after Muzan's defeat, Tanjiro stands on the mountain where his family's home once stood. The Demon Slayer Corps has been disbanded. With no more demons to fight, there's no need for Demon Slayers anymore. His second chance didn't create a perfect world, as people still died and sacrifices still had to be made. But it's a world where the people he loves are alive to see the sunrise, and sometimes that's all that matters. If you enjoyed this alternate timeline, make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another Demon Slayer fan theory.